we intend to pay back the sort of goodwill and faith that our fans have for our football club. And whoever the manager or head coach or players are, whoever the current crop are or people in there, we're all visitors. But when you're a fan of a football club, it's in you.
Nigel Pearson, welcome.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be head coach of this football club?
Well, I'm delighted to be here. It's an opportunity that I didn't expect, and so a few days ago, I got no idea that this sort of opportunity would come around. It's a really good one for me. Clearly, our situation in terms of where we are in the league and being adrift at the moment is a big concern. But for me, I just see it as a challenge that gives me a chance to work in the Premier League again with a very good club with some good players. But it's a challenge that it's going to be a really tough one for us to overcome. But I'm sure we can do it.
Would it be fair to say it came out of the blue?
Very much so, yeah, very much so. So Thursday, first hearing about the opportunity and or the possibility of the opportunity, and I find myself here today, watching first training session, meeting the players and staff, which has been, a very, I think it's been a positive day in that respect. So, yeah, things change quickly in life, but certainly in football for sure.
You like to be out walking and breathing in the fresh air. Were you on one of your famous treks around this great green country of ours when the call came?
Well, actually, somebody was trying to get hold of me, and my phone was off precisely because of that. So I'd been out in Derbyshire on the Wednesday and done a pretty, a really good walk. And so Thursday morning, when I heard about it, it was a bit of a surprise. But like I say, I'm delighted to be here.
So your phone was off and you picked up a voicemail?
I don't have voicemail on my phone. I picked up the messages and then and called back. So yeah, it was like I say, a surprise, but I'm delighted to be here.
All happened very quickly. Yeah. Bit of a no-brainer.
Well, again, as I've already pointed out, I think the important thing for me is how unique an opportunity it really is for me. I mean, to be not working and then have a chance of working at a Premier League club is a like I say, it's a great chance to get back in and re-establish myself for sure. But actually, the what I've seen of the club as well, and we have good facilities, but as I say, there's no doubt in my mind that our players have the capability to produce results which are better than certainly what we've got so far. And but I don't. You must have heard it many times about people talking about sides that are possibly too good to be in a relegation dogfight. We are where we are because we've not been able to produce the types of performances that have earned us enough points so far. But so my job is to try and rectify that, or help the players to get a level of organisation and belief back into them that we are capable of competing. And I think that's the priority at the moment. Is not to have a broad overview of the place. It's to try and affect what happens on the pitch as quickly as possible.
Sounded a swift interview process. Was it a case of the club selling itself to you, or you selling yourself to the club?
You'll have to ask the club that. It's as I've already pointed out, it's a great opportunity, and I'm thankful for it. I'm pleased that our paths have crossed. But for me, it's something that I felt was too unique an event to turn down. I mean, it's a great chance for me.
When you sat in the dugout at Vicarage Road in 2013, when Troy scored that goal, everything 6 years later, you'd be in the home dugout. It's a funny old game, this, isn't it?
Strange. People have asked me a lot about that day. I'm quite pragmatic about how things occur in football, in all honesty. I mean, I'm not saying it was good to be on the receiving end of that, but also we were able to regroup after that and have a successful season afterwards. I mean, look, the point about playing at Vicarage Road is always that and this is what surprises me this season, that we've not won at home yet. In my experience as a player and in any capacity that have always returned here, it's an incredibly tough fixture. It's a difficult place as a visiting opponent to come and play, and I think we have to try and re-establish that as something that people don't enjoy coming to play at our place. But of course, wherever we're in this difficult situation of not being able to find our first home win, I mean, that's clearly something that's a priority for us to address, because if we are going to succeed this year, that's going to have to change pretty quickly.
You had a watching brief. What did you make of the game? See things you liked of the team? See things you'd like to tweak?
Both, but I saw plenty of positive things I also saw things that didn't surprise me as well, and I think it's always about trying to give the players the freedom to go out and play, really, as much as anything. Players who are fighting to try and get back into form. There were some encouraging signs. I know we've not scored anywhere near enough goals this year so far, especially with the players that we have available. But I thought that, again, we caused Palace quite a few problems. Yeah, we know that we've got to be more clinical in terms of converting opportunities when they come along, and the players are aware of that as well. But yeah, I saw some good fighting qualities yesterday, but I'm not. I'm aware of what our problems are at the moment. I think it's important for us to try and. I've got to try and help galvanise the group together and make sure that we go into games with a very competitive spirit and with the intention of doing anything we can to win a game. It's as simple as that.
What's the key to getting out of this sticky situation we're in?
Well, without stating the obvious, I mean, it's pretty. Look, we've got to change our fortunes pretty quickly. We'll have to find a good run of results at some point as well. But there has to be a collective, not just a collective spirit, I mean, because that's easy to talk about, but we have to show a positive intent in games. And I think, just the very situation that we're in and the number of points that we have and being adrift, it means that we've got to have a very strong mental approach to receiving setbacks as well, because we've got to win games, but we're also going to have a few more setbacks along the way, and we've got to be able to deal with that. It's very clear in my mind that I've got to I've got to show some leadership qualities, and I think that's, I would presume that's the reason that I've been brought in here to attempt to do that. I've been in situations like this before, as a player, as a coach, and as a manager, and what always strikes me and what I recall about these types of situations is that I understand the types of fears that people have, and one of the big things is trying to alleviate those types of pressures off people so that they can go out and perform, because fear is a huge inhibitor of performance, and so yeah, I mean that's I think that would be stating the obvious somewhat, but I and we as staff will do everything that we can to build the framework to allow the players to do what they're paid to do, and that's go out on the field and perform.
You pulled off the Escape Act in 2014-15.
Yeah.
7 wins and a draw from your last 9. For a start, we'll take a piece of that if we can. And how do you reflect on that spell?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's when people ask me these types of questions, it's I think it's always too easy to look back at things like that and try and piece together what it might look like for other people. The reality is, when you're involved in something like that, you sort of build momentum as it goes. It was an incredible feat, but let's not kid ourselves. You can't expect that type of a thing to be the norm for teams in that sort of position. I remember when I was Brian Robson's assistant at West Brom around 2004, and we were bottom at Christmas, and we managed to stay up on the last day of the season by beating Portsmouth actually on that day. So the thing that strikes me with both of those events, and I was at Carlisle as well, forgetting that one, the similarities between those groups of players, for instance, would be a collective, and that doesn't mean that the players always have to be either best friends or get on totally with everybody, but when it comes to going out and performing, a clear idea of what they're trying to do every time they do it, and they trust each other, and they're able to rely on each other during games. You need that. You need a bit of luck. You need to make as much of that as you can, but you also need to be able to isolate what's happening everywhere else, because you can't really do a great deal about what pressure's doing to other people, apart from trying to win your own games to apply a bit more on them. So these things are, I'm loath to try and talk in too much detail about why things happened, and we're not ever totally in control of all the circumstances, but what you've got to try and do is concentrate on the things that you can affect yourselves, and for us as a group, it's our own games, it's our own performances, it's how we behave and how the values that we work to around the workplace every day. But come match days, we've got to go out there and get our performances right, for sure.
Key word there you said was collective. Just had a meeting in the canteen. Very fortunate that you included us in on that. What struck me was the inclusivity of it. You had the groundsman, the kit men, the tea lady, the laundry woman. How big for you is that we in all of this, the unity?
It's crucial. Look, everybody, not everybody's role is as either visible or to the, let's be honest, it's about players. It's about players being able to go out there and perform. They're the ones who win points on the pitch. But there's a bigger picture, and whatever role people have within a football club, it's about them, doing what they do as well as they can, and that goes for all of us. And to create a feeling of, or to create a reality of togetherness rather, is, you know, you can't force it. It's got to have a bit of substance to it, and I can't do it by myself. I'm as reliant on the people I work with as anybody else is, but I believe in respecting other people's roles, and we all have a job to do, so let's do it as well as we can.
Some will be familiar with your work, others won't. Would it be fair to say you're a no-nonsense type of character? You don't suffer fools?
Well, I'll let you make that judgment on me. I mean, that's, you know, I don't look at myself in the mirror and go and say things like that to myself, for sure. I don't really like looking at myself, to be fair, but I think it's important to have a bit of clarity about how you work. And I think if you're talking about working with players, I like people to enjoy coming to work. I like people to enjoy doing what they're doing, but there also has to be I'll use a word already, framework to work within, and that means that players know when they're working and when they're having a bit of fun. We need to work. At the moment, we've got some work. We've got a lot of work to do, because we have a responsibility to ourselves to do everything in our power to get out of the situation that we're in. Nobody else will do it for us. We've got to contribute in the best way possible.
All starts with something as simple as timekeeping. I noted in that meeting you held there.
Yeah, let's hope I don't get stuck in traffic down here. You know, somebody who's yeah, punctuality is important to me, for sure. But look, it's as much about intention as it is about, look, everybody makes mistakes, and everybody can get things wrong. You know, that's a part of being a human being. But it's the intention that's the most important thing. It's about respect.
I love the fearlessness in your speech. We go to Anfield on Saturday, people thinking they're on this great run, they're top of the table, they're flying, but you said we've got to embrace it, it's a special game.
Well, look, I mean, they're the best team in the country at the moment. I mean, Leicester are having an incredible season and are, I think, at the time that we talked, 3 points better than 2 points a game, and are adrift. So it shows you how good Liverpool have been, and are. My message, of course, is that as a football club, when you've spent a considerable amount of time out of the top flight, the journey that the club makes in getting there, and the sacrifices that are made to actually get into the Premier League to start with, and then the investment that goes with it, and we don't want to give it up lightly. It's players, staff members should look forward to going to the best teams in the country, and yeah, so that hey, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to kid myself. It's going to be it's going to be a formidable game to be a part of. But look, why not look forward to it? Why not?
Here. We all know how important the fans are at any club. Were you thrilled by the reception you got yesterday?
I was incredibly touched by it, to be fair, because again, I'm not somebody who spends a lot of time sort of trying to judge the mood of what people perceive it to be. The reception was, very warm. It felt very, very genuine, and I was delighted by it. All I can say is that we intend to pay back the sort of goodwill and faith that our fans have for our football club, and whoever the manager or head coach or players are, whoever the current crop are or people in there, we're all visitors. But when you're a fan of a football club, It's in you, and you know we've got to make sure that our team plays with a commitment and a conviction that our fans are proud of. Can't really say too much more than that. I don't really want to say too much more because it's very easy to talk in terms of styles of play. We need to win games however we can win a game. At the moment, that's not the style of play is not the most important. It's trying to find ways to win, and I think our fans would expect us to show absolute commitment, and that's something that is always a value that I hold in high esteem in terms of I expect that from myself and I expect it from the people I work with.
You're still putting together your backroom team, 1 or 2 finishing touches to be made. Just a word on the contribution of Hayden Mullins and Graham Stack and possibly their roles going forward.
Well, hey, I think they steadied the ship fantastically well last week. To be thrust into at the sharp end of preparing for Premier League games. I think they dealt with it very well. I think the 2 performances showed a lot of not just promise, but they allowed the players to go out and play, and I think they take great credit for that. I've been delighted with, again, me coming in today and meeting the staff, and I continue to look forward to their contribution because we need good people around the football club, and they know the players. Hey, look, coming into a job and not knowing people inside out is not a bad thing either, because you fresh eyes on things. But it's important to get that to combine those 2 sorts of qualities, if you like. So I think they did a great job last week, and they're people who care a lot about the football club.
Just finally, what can we expect from a Nigel Pearson team?
Well, first and foremost, I want the players to commit to themselves. I want a team. Hey, look, I'd like to be successful. Success is always relative, of course, and it's. I want us this year to play with spirit and play with commitment, and bring to our performances the quality that I know that we've got. So it's I think more about the results at the moment, for sure. But we've got to show a bit of fighting spirit, and we've got to be brave enough to go out there and perform. And I suppose if those things are evident, that's probably an idea of what my teams, or I like my teams to look like.
Thank you for your time, and everyone here wishes you the very best of luck.
I appreciate your good wishes, and like I've already said, it's been I've had such a warm welcome here. It's been fantastic. Thanks.
Hello. Click here to subscribe.
That's it, it's fun. Very good.